Erev Tov, Chevre. So I'm at work. It's 9:15. I've worked late tonight. And I'm just getting ready to go home. And I found myself thinking about, of all things, the demand or the campaign for allowing buses to be driven on a shabbos in Israel. Of all the things, I suppose it's got something to do with the fact that I'm doing this bus driving job. It's probably ticking away in the back of my mind. I basically I'm thinking of next year basically doing the bus license for a regular bus, in anticipation of making Aliyah. And I'm thinking the next time I go to Israel, I want to go down to the bus station in Tveria and I'm going to speak to some bus drivers and just pick their brains and try and understand what it is that they know, what they can tell me about the job. Because I found out there's another company that I didn't know about called Superbus, and they operate in Tveria as well. They operate nationwide, but they've definitely got a presence in Tveria. There's Dan, and then there's Eged. But I found myself thinking about an article that I read about 5 or 6 years ago. It was about a girl who was in the army in Eilat, and her argument for allowing buses on the Shabbos was that she didn't finish from her service on a Friday afternoon until late in the evening, and by then all the buses had stopped and she couldn't get on a bus to go up to Tel Aviv to see her uncles and her auntie. I don't think she had any parents or something like that. She only had an uncle and auntie. The pro campaign was using her as an example to justify allowing buses on a Shabbos. Indeed, I think there's buses now allowed in Haifa and in Tveria, not Tveria, in Tel Aviv. But it's a bitter contested argument, and I see that there are some liberal sort of rabbis basically making a campaign for it, because in the near future they're going to have autonomous vehicles, and they also make the argument that a bus can be driven by a non-Jew, and therefore they're not breaking any halach or any laws or anything like that. So there's lots of reasons, or what's the word? There's lots of reasons to justify it, but of course, Israel, being a Jewish state, they want to keep the Shabbos holy, and since its foundation in 1948, the modern state hasn't had buses running on the Shabbos. In fact, all the shops are closed. The country shuts down. You get to some religious areas, and the barriers come down just 5 minutes, 10 minutes before Shabbos. People are racing to get home, to get into the barriers, and if they don't make it, they end up having to park out on the highway. There's a village or a town called El Ad. I've been there, and 10 minutes before Shabbos, a big massive horn goes off, massive horn like a shofar, and it's like a countdown. And then there's another shofar that goes off 5 minutes later, and then a final blast of the horn. And it's like the horn that you would imagine they used in the Second World War. One of them, a real loud one, And these gates, these barriers come down, and that's it. You're not getting out, and you're not getting in. You can walk in and out, but you're not going to drive in and out. That's it. But within El Ad itself, there are some secular people that do drive, and I don't think it disturbs the peace too much, because not everyone is religious, but they can't get out, right? That's the deal. If you don't get out and you're not going anywhere, you're locked in. I think the same with Bnei Brak. I think Jerusalem's a bit different because you've got a bigger mix of religious and secular people living there. Tel Aviv, I don't think anybody keeps Shabbos there. Maybe one or two. I don't know. I really don't know. But by and large, they're heading for the beach. The latest campaign is, I read that they want the buses to run on a Shabbos between middle Tel Aviv to the beach, so people can go to the beach. I suppose that's what they want to do. Who am I to say that they can or they can't? It's not my place, is it really? But I do have an opinion on it, and I do know what it's like to enjoy the shabbos. It's, you know, there's a period where you detach, you do it properly. You find yourself in a different zone. You don't reach for your phone. You don't hear no telephones. You don't need no TV. You don't need no radio, and you just have like a social thing, and it's like a little bit like I would imagine, like certainly like it was when we were kids, but very much before that. I would imagine that before radio and TV and everything, you know, people had to socialise. They had to talk, communicate. Now these days you can't get there. You can't communicate with anyone, can you? You ask them, say you ask them a question, and they don't even hear you because their head is stuck in a phone. Their consciousness is engaged in another world. I had a friend. He was driving his nephew down to London, and he asked his nephew a question, went straight over his head. So, you know, being the type of person he was, he thought he was being a bit rude. He looked at his nephew and he thought, what the hell is this about? So he said, oh no, I'll tell you. I said, I'll give you £100 if you answer my question. Straight over his head. Kid didn't even hear him. So I'll give you £200. Straight over his head. I'll give you £1,000 if you answer my question. Didn't even hear it. Didn't even hear it. That's where we're at. God knows what they're, you know, everybody's got, you know, my own father, I've given him YouTube, his head's stuck in the phone, like a teenager all of a sudden. Before he had the phone, he was constantly criticising everybody. As soon as I gave him the phone, that's it. You couldn't get through to him. You'd hear him giggling every now and then, laughing, shouting at the phone. You'd see some kind of political opinion come across, and he'd be swearing at them. And that's what it does to you, doesn't it? It kind of pickles your brain. It draws you off into a different world, and you get overloaded with information. But come Shabbos, you detach from that. And I think there's an argument for it. But you know, those people who don't experience it, they don't know about it. They only know the other side. They only know what it is like to have a phone and to go to the beach. No, I'm going to the beach. How dare you tell me I can't go to the beach? Go to the beach. Enjoy yourself. Nobody's stopping you. Yeah, but I can't get a bus. I want the bus to run. Okay. You know, make a case for it then. That's the reality of the matter in Israel. They don't have buses. But they do in Haifa and they do in Tel Aviv. But there's a campaign to actually liberalise the buses all over the country. They want to do it in Tveria as well. And like I was saying, there was using this girl who was in the army. She's probably out of the army now, but she was in the army. And come Friday night, she couldn't get on a bus and get back to Tel Aviv in time to enjoy herself and see her parents or her uncle and auntie. And I started thinking to myself, what would happen if, you know, it came to the point where they decided one day they were going to allow all the buses to run in all Israel, and they were going to get the camera out from the TV, and they were going to follow this girl making the journey, liberated at long last, from Haifa, from Eilat, all the way to Tel Aviv, a 7 or 8 hour journey. So she leaves at 4 o'clock in the Friday afternoon, Erev Shabbos, and she gets to Tel Aviv at 9 o'clock at night. And she gets off the bus, she walks down the street, the camera's with her, she finds her uncle and auntie's house. It's an apartment. She's got to go up the stairs. The camera follows her. She knocks on the door, and her auntie opens the door. Auntie, I've made it. I'm home. I managed to get the bus, and I've arrived in Tel Aviv. Effa Dodi, where's my uncle? Ah, didn't I tell you he's got a job? He's a bus driver. Because somebody's got to drive the buses, right? Why wouldn't he take advantage of it? He's all of a sudden he's got a chance to work an extra day a week, and he'll get an extra, £100 because they're paying good rates to attract people. $100. $100 in his pocket, but she's made the journey to see her uncle, and she can't see him because he's decided to get a job as a bus driver. That's what will happen. We experienced something similar to that in England. There was a campaign to actually open the stores on a Sunday. And I remember people, as a call centre, we worked in a call centre at the time, and we didn't used to work open on a Sunday. All we did, we opened up for 2 hours only. But then they decided that we were going to open up and match the actual Sunday trading hours, 11 o'clock in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. And a lot of people didn't want to do it. But they used to say, it's not a religious day for some people. For some people, the Muslims are quite happy to work. who are you to tell them that they can't? And if somebody's not religious, they can work and they can earn some money. So that people accepted it, and they said, okay, all right, fine, fair enough, all right. So you can imagine, can't you, in Israel, they liberated the buses. Great, long last, they've won a massive battle. They can now get a bus to go to the beach. Soon they'll get bored of the beach, right? Soon they'll get bored of the beach. They'll want more. No, we want to go shopping. We want to go to the shopping mall. So they'll make another campaign. They've won one fight, so why wouldn't they win another fight? So they'll go to the Supreme Court again, and they'll put forward a case, and they'll basically get the whole country behind them to actually open up all the shopping malls. So now they've got somewhere else to go to. They can go to the beach, or they can go to the shopping mall, and they can go and spend money. But everyone will say, wait a minute, who's going to stand in the shops? Well, they said, well, if those that want to work, they can work. Yeah, but it's a shabbos. They'll say, no, I want to work. Who are you to tell me what to do? I want to work and earn money. I've got bills to pay. And so they, all along, the counter argument is that the Haredim, the religious Jews, they will still keep Shabbos regardless. They won't be going shopping or going to the beach. But some of the people will say but they can if they want, because there will be autonomous buses. The buses are free. They don't actually have to carry a bus ticket or cash to pay. They can just get on the bus and go. Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, the authorities won't do anything for free. Taxpayers got to pay. How dare you? I pay my taxes. I'm entitled to a free bus. You can just see all the arguments. The Haredim won't do. They'll be in the shul. They'll be in the shuls. They'll be davening. They'll basically they'll be having lunch with the family, and they'll be sitting there. They'll be relaxing, and they'll be connecting with Hashem, and they'll be singing and davening and singing and davening. In the meantime, all the secular will be rushing to the beach, running as fast as they can. Get on that bus quick. No, I'm going to work today. I've got to work today. I'm going to the shopping mall to work. I've got a job in the supermarket. The supermarkets are open now. And before you know it, there'll be, the capitalists will be rubbing their hands, won't they? Because they've got an extra trading day. Makes you wonder who's actually behind the campaign in the first place. Is it the people demanding that the buses be run? Or is it the businesses basically pushing the people to demand the buses so that they can open up the shops and make more money? And the government aren't going to object to it because they'll get taxes, won't they? But I know what it's like. I've been through a similar process. And basically the businesses will need to ensure that they've got staff there. So they'll advertise. They'll start advertising left, right, and centre, and they'll say to their existing staff, if you want to carry on working here, you've got to work on the Saturday. No, I'm keeping Shabbos. I'm a frummer, and it's we're going to have to review that. But in the meantime, they'll recruit part timers to come in and work on the Saturday. Extra premium. People go, wow, it's fantastic. Sod it, I'm not going to shul, I'm going to go and get a job part-time. I can do with the extra cash it'll pay. I can save it and buy myself a house. And they'll go and get these jobs. And they'll get an extra premium, time and a half, double time, triple time, to come in and stand in a shopping mall and pack bags for people. Security guards will have to work. Policemen they'll get extra overtime. The economy will boom. There'll be a business case made for it for the whole of Israeli society to enjoy this newfound freedom. Found freedom. Yeah, I'm free to go shopping. But half the people will end up basically working in the supermarkets. Before, they used to sit at home and relax. They didn't want to sit at home and relax because they wanted to go out, but they couldn't because there was no buses. They couldn't drive. So they were bored. But now they've got something to do. Now they can work. And it will transform the Israeli society. But the capitalists, they'll see the costs go up. They'll have a trading day. Their revenue will go up. Their costs will go up. But they'll think about how can they actually manage these costs down. And I went through something very similar. And they basically, at first, it was a fantastic case. You can now earn extra money by working on a Sunday. All the supermarkets were open in England. And it was great. Everybody rushed to the supermarket. Extra day. I can now go and do some shopping. And then before long, you you started to be kind of put on. You said if you want to work here, you've got to work on sign up to a rolling shift pattern. Continental shift pattern. A continental shift pattern, rolling shift pattern. You're going to have work You're going to have Tuesday and Wednesday off, but you've got to work Sunday and Monday. Sorry, Saturday and Sunday. And then it will roll. And the following week, you'll have the Saturday off, but you'll work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have Thursday off. And the following week, and it'll be a 7-week rolling shift pattern. We used to have a 13-week rolling shift pattern. It was a nightmare. But the typical one was a 7-week rolling shift pattern. So every 6th and 7th week, you worked a weekend. And it rolled. And if you were a yid, you couldn't get out of it. And even today, if you're going up in England, if you're going to apply for a job, there's very few jobs now where you can get a job where it's just Monday to Friday. I wanted to work at the post office. They said, sorry, you've got to work on a Saturday and a Sunday. I said, but I can't. I'm Jewish. I want the day off. I'm happy to work the Sunday, but not the Saturday. Sorry. This job's only for the people who are prepared to sign up for Saturday and a Sunday. So you're kind of excluded from the marketplace. I wanted that job because it was a walking job. I thought, they'll pay me to walk. I thought it was a good deal. I'll lose some weight. I'll get money in my pocket. But I can't. You've got to work on the shabbas. So that's what will happen in Israel. People will say, if you want to work here, you've got to sign up. You've got to work on a shabbos. I think that some jobs are like that even now. So the frummers will be kind of excluded because they're not going to work on a shabbos. For sure they're not. But those are secular people. They'll find themselves basically, applying for a job. I want to work in this bank, and say, if you want to work, sorry, we have to open up on a Saturday now. If you want a job in a bank, you've got to work the rota, and you've got to work like every 3rd or 4th Saturday. And they'll go, well, I don't want to. I've got to keep Shabbos, and they'll have a dilemma, and that's all I need the job. So they'll bite their tongue and they'll apply for it, and before long, somebody who used to keep Shabbos will no longer keep Shabbos. They're the weaker ones, and they'll become completely secular. So what? But that's what will happen. And as time went by, you think it's great. At first it was brilliant. I was getting an extra day in the week, and I was getting an extra £100 on top of my salary, and I was doing 4 Saturdays or 4 Sundays every 4 weeks. So every week for a month it was an extra £400-500. It's like £5,000, £10,000 in my salary. Wonderful. When can you spend it? Well, on my day off on a Tuesday. So you ring round your mates. You say, I've got Tuesday off. You work? No, you're working. Oh right, okay. You working as well? Oh right, okay. So you have to go out on your own. You can't. Before you used to have like a social contact with your mates on the weekend. But now you can't, because you ring them up and you say, I've got the weekend off. What are you doing? He says, I'm working. What are you doing? I'm driving a bus. It'll completely turn society upside down. And then the business, going back to the businesses, they'll think, hold on, wait a minute. We get them on a rolling shift pattern. We can say Saturday's a normal working day. No premium, no overtime, none of that. And they'll find themselves slowly being drawn into some kind of like modern day slavery. Back to Egypt. Now they're working 6 days a week. Inflation will basically eat away at the salary, and before they know it, they're working 7 days a week for less than what they used to get when they only worked 6 days a week. Before they used to have Shabbos off, they earned X pounds or X shekelim per week, and now they're earning X shekelim minus 10% for 7 days a week. And it slowly crept up on them. They didn't even see it coming. They found themselves being enslaved, the modern day slavery. Working for longer hours, more days, longer hours for less. And they sleptwalked into being conned into working on the Shabbos, all because they argued that they wanted buses on a Shabbos. I want to go to the beach on a Shabbos. How dare you tell me I can't go to the beach? Go to the beach. Yeah, but I haven't got a car. It's expensive living in Tel Aviv. You don't understand. Why can't the buses run? We're not frummers. They're chreder frummers. That's what they'll say. That's what they do say. And Jaime, he'll basically come home from work on a Tuesday. He'll be getting into bed, and his wife will be getting up to go to work because she's on a different rolling shift pattern. And he'll never see her, and she'll never see him. But she'll see Mustafa at work. And they'll fall in love, have an affair. And before you know it, she's filing for divorce because she's got another kid on the way. And Jaime, who used to spend the Shabbos with his wife and his kids, and they had a great family relationship and a great, peace in the home. Now he never sees his sons because his sons don't see him because he's always working. They don't see the mother. The mother's coming when he's going, and he's going when she's coming. And the kids, they used to have tea on the table. They come back from school. There's no tea anymore. Make your own. Make your own. What's the matter with you? When are you going to stand on your own 2 feet? They say, okay, all right. I don't know how to cook. So they'll go down the road to get some breakfast, and they'll see the friends hanging out on the street corner, and they'll hang around with them, and then they'll start smoking weed, dealing drugs, and before you know it, they'll be in trouble with the law. Jaime's lost his wife. She's divorcing him, taking the whole house. He's going to end up in a little one-bedroom apartment that he's paying. All the money that he's getting for his wages for working 7 days a week is now going on rent for a tiny one-bedroom apartment, and he's having to pay for a mortgage on a house that he used to live in for his wife because she's got the kids and she's been in a relationship with Mustafa or Christopher. A societal breakdown. That's what happened in England. I'm absolutely convinced of it. I'm absolutely convinced that when they opened up Sunday trading hours in England, I'm convinced that it also contributed, not the only reason, but it was a contribution to the breakup of the family. People said, yeah, great, it was a boost to the economy, an extra trading day. But somewhere along the line, the businesses basically, they hoodwinked you. They got you to work a shift pattern, a rolling shift pattern. And where Saturday used to be and Sunday used to be a premium day, and you'd get time and a half or double time, now it became an ordinary working day. It's no different to any other day of the week. So now you see people, you don't see them because they're all working 7 days a week. They sleepwalking into slavery. I think they've got a deal, and then inflation eats away the money that they're going to earn anyway, and they end up earning less than what they used to earn when they worked 5 or 6 days a week. So I think the counter-argument for keeping the buses out of operation on a shabbos is not a religious one. I think from a secular point of view, I think it's a financial one. I think stay well away from it. You're gonna end up in some kind of slavery, and all because you want to be like the rest of the world. We don't want Shabbos. We want to be able to drive on a Shabbos, and we want to be able to go to the beach. That's what they want, and they'll end up having a continental shift pattern because they want to be like the continent. And I think that's the reality of the matter. I think, and in the meantime, the whole thing is that they'll end up working all those extra hours working more hours for less money, paying more tax that will be used to subsidise the Haredi way of life, and they'll still keep Shabbos. And they'll still be relaxed and happy because they're not going to get on the bus on a Shabbos, are they? So that's what I've been thinking about. All because Rivka wanted to go and see her uncle on a Shabbos from Eilat. Poor Rivka. Who are you to tell Rivka she can't go and see her uncle? Her uncle ended up getting a job because now he could get a job and drive on a Shabbos. He got a job. So she went to see him and he wasn't there. So that's what I was thinking about. Sad, really, isn't it? Because you see, I think the reason why I was thinking of it, when I make Aliyah, if I go and get a job as a bus driver, and they turn around to me and say, yeah, you can work for us, but you've got to go on a rolling shift pattern. It means you've got to work on a Shabbos. I ain't doing it. No way. I ain't doing that at all. It's just a red line for me. If I wanted to do that, I'd have done it for the last 10, 12 years. Ever since my mum passed away, I wasn't going to do it. So, I'll just probably look for 2 or 3 days a week part-time job then, if that's the case. But I don't think for 1 minute that they would force bus drivers to work. I think it would be an option. That's how they'd sell it to them. Yeah, it's optional. If he wants to, if he's not religious, he can basically, if he wants to drive on a Shabbos, let him drive on a Shabbos. Who are you to tell him that he can't? It's when they start telling people who don't want to work on the Shabbos that they have to work. That's when you have an issue with it. And that'll come. That'll come. You want a job? You've got to drive on Shabbos. That's what I'm dreading. I'm not dreading it. It's stuff I just don't want to do. Just won't do it. I'll just basically go taxi driving or something. I'll basically get my I'll get myself a cab. I'll get myself a minibus, a Shrewt, and I'll do that. I'll just work Monday to Friday. Done. That's all I want. At my age, I don't want to be driving a bus on a Shabbos. What do I do that for? Nonsense. I think that there's a rabbi. He's named Rabbi Kadova. I think he's Kadosa. He's Rabbi Atlas's father-in-law. He was making a case for it. Basically, the autonomous vehicles are coming, and even so, he was saying, Christians and Christians, Muslims, secular Jews. Who are we to tell them that they can't work on the Shabbos? But it's law in Israel, I think, or rather, the law is it's established by the local authority. B'nai Brak, for instance, there's no vehicles. I think they've got a train now, a new train, goes all the way from Tel Aviv and it goes through B'nai Brak. But the problem they've got, the planning that it has to go through B'nai Brak for people during the week to get on and off it. They're going to use it. But come Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, B'nai Brak is also, it closes down. You can't. There's no train going through B'nai Brak. I promise you there isn't. They ain't gonna do it. And I thought to myself, well, the way around it is to basically, the secular can get the train and go to the gate of B'nai Brak, get off the train, walk through B'nai Brak and get another train at the other end and carry on the journey. That's one way around it if they really, really want to have trains. That's how, but you've got to respect the community, and the community doesn't want it. Yeah, a bit of a balagan, really, isn't it? But anyway, that's what I've been thinking about, and I thought I would keep you abreast of my thinking. It is now 9:10. I've been rabbiting on for about 15-20 minutes, and I'm going home to have something to eat. So Erev Tov Chevra, bye bye.